usually starts with the sound. Just a regular everyday sound that you hear 1,000 times a week.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you're washing dishes or driving home from work.
The phone rings.
The phone rings.
And just like that, the air, it just leaves the room. Because if you are on the list, if you're an approved foster carer, that ring isn't just a notification, it is a massive fork in the road.
It's the sound of your life changing. It really is. It's the moment where your life, as you know it, just, well, it pauses.
Yeah.
And a whole new, chaotic, terrifying, and beautiful reality begins.
It does.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We are back with another stack of training manuals, agency guidelines, and real-world stories to help you make sense of the world.
And today, we are zooming in on a very specific, very high-stakes window of time. We aren't talking about the long-term adoption process or court battles.
No.
We are talking about the first 24 hours.
The panic zone.
Exactly, the panic zone. We've combed through training manuals from agencies like Capstone and Affinity, therapeutic parenting guides, and some incredibly raw carer stories to help you navigate that first day.
And I think it's worth, reestablishing our perspectives here.
Definitely, because we look at this stack of papers very differently. My brain goes straight to the head. I've been navigating the legal maze of the local authority for 20 years, so I'm always thinking, is this legal?
Yeah.
Is this compliant?
Is everyone safe?
Is everyone safe?
Whereas I'm looking at it as the guy standing in the hallway holding a stuffed animal. As a foster carer myself, I'm the heart of the operation.
Right.
You worry about the paperwork. I worry about keeping everyone sane.
Which is the bigger job, let's be honest.
Well, ideally, we want to achieve both. But the sources make it clear that day one is about survival. It isn't about perfect parenting. It's just about lowering the fear level in the house. So let's go back to that phone ringing. Because according to the data, there are really two ways this all starts. You have the planned move.
And then you have the emergency placement.
And they're completely different planets.
Oh, they really are. A planned move is the luxury option. You might have weeks to prepare. You get to read the referral. That's the document about the child's history in detail.
You can prepare.
You can. You might have transitions where the child comes for tea, sees the house, maybe meets the dog, and then goes back. It's like a courtship.
But then there's the other kind. The kind that happens at 4 o'clock on a Friday.
The Friday afternoon special.
Exactly.
Every social worker's nightmare and every foster carer's reality. The phone rings and the voice on the other end says, "We have a 10-year-old. We're picking them up now. Can they be with you by 6?
2 hours, if you're lucky. And in that scenario, you are not reading a detailed history. You are running around trying to find clean sheets, wondering if you have fish fingers in the freezer.
You're operating on pure adrenaline. And the child. They aren't transitioning. They're being ripped from everything they know. And the sources, they paint a pretty stark picture of what that arrival looks like. We often hear about the bin bag scenario.
Yeah. It's a cliche in the system because it's true and it's devastating. Often these kids arrive with their entire lives stuffed into black bin liners, trash bags.
It sends such a terrible message about their worth.
It does. So while you are stressed about whether the house is tidy, the child is operating on pure trauma.
And that's the key distinction. So the mission changes. Planned move, integration, emergency.
It's stabilization, emotional triage.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack the head side of this first, because in all that chaos, there is a legal framework that has to engage the second that social worker steps onto your driveway.
I know. This is where I usually lose people. But if you don't get this right, you can land in hot water so quickly. The sources, specifically the guidance from Carambo and agencies like Affinity, all talk about the placement plan.
That's the document the social worker brings with them.
Right. Exactly. It's the vital paperwork. It's not just bureaucracy. It's a safety harness. There's a concept called Delegated Authority.
Which basically translates to, am I allowed to be the parent?
Precisely. Usually the local authority holds parental responsibility, but you need to know what you, the person in the house, are allowed to do. And you need to ask these questions before the social worker gets back in their car.
So what are the big ones? Give us the must-ask list.
The biggest one is emergency medical treatment. Can I sign for it? Imagine it's 2 in the morning, they fall out of bed and break an arm. You rush to A&E.
Oh, wow.
If you don't have that delegated authority signed, the doctors legally cannot treat that child without a social worker's consent.
And good luck getting a social worker on the phone at 2 toward a.m. on a Saturday.
Exactly. You do not want to be stuck in a waiting room making frantic phone calls while a child is in pain. You need that signature on file.
That's a terrifying thought. What else is on that list?
Haircuts. It sounds trivial,
A
right?
haircut.
But identity is huge for kids in care. You need to ask, who is allowed to cut their hair? If you take a child to the barber the next morning without permission, you can cause a massive issue with the birth family.
I never would have thought of that.
It can be seen as erasing their identity. And of course,
Contact.
absolutely, contact arrangements. Who is allowed to see them? Who isn't? You can't guess at this stuff. It's your safety net.
Okay. So, papers are signed, the social worker leaves, the door closes.
And the reality sets in.
It's just you and a terrified stranger in your hallway. Take us into the heart of this moment. What's actually happening in that room?
This is where the sensory overload just hits like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
I tell new carers to do this mental exercise. Walk into your own house and close your eyes. Take a deep breath.
Okay.
It smells like your laundry detergent, your cooking, your dog. To you, that's home. To a child, that is the smell of stranger.
It's an assault on the senses.
It really is. The texture of the carpet is wrong. The clock ticks too loudly. Everything screams unsafe. So the biggest mistake new carers make here, and I've done this myself, is the grand tour.
You mean showing them the whole house? Here's the conservatory, here's the utility room.
Exactly. Here's my collection of antique spoons.
Yeah.
They don't care. They are in survival mode. If you show them 10 rooms, they are scanning for exits and threats. It's overwhelming.
So what's the strategy then?
Keep it small. Show them the toilet because that's a basic need and they might be too scared to ask. Show them where you will be sleeping so they know they aren't abandoned. And show them their room.
Their safe space.
That's it. Everything else can wait.
Speaking of basic needs, let's talk about food. The sources were really interesting on this.
This is a hill I will die on. Do not force a formal family meal on the first night.
But isn't that what we think of as good parenting? Sitting around the table, passing the peas.
In a normal situation, yes. In this situation, it's an interrogation. Imagine sitting at a strange table with strangers watching how you eat, eating food you've never seen before.
Oh, pressure is immense.
It's too much. So the alternative is the snack box.
The snack way.
Put a box of snacks in their room or leave a tray clearly visible in the kitchen. Tell them, this is for you. You can eat this whenever you want. You don't have to ask.
Why is that so effective?
Because food insecurity is a huge part of trauma. Food hoarding is a very common response. If a child knows they have access to food without asking, it lowers the anxiety immediately. It says, you will be fed here. You are safe.
That's such a practical, compassionate tip.
It just removes the power dynamic from the food.
Okay, moving through the timeline.
Yeah.
The sun goes down. The first night. This is often the scariest time for everyone involved.
Darkness is the enemy here.
The sources mention landing lights repeatedly.
Absolutely. Never ever turn all the lights off. A child waking up in pitch blackness in a strange room will panic.
Their brain won't know where they are.
And the flight response kicks in. Leave the hall light on, leave the bathroom light on.
And this brings us to a policy that sounds cold, but is actually deeply protective. We need to talk about safe care.
I hate the name Safe Care. It sounds like we're running a hospital.
It sounds sterile, doesn't it?
I know, but the concept is vital. Safe care isn't about being cold, it's about boundaries that protect everyone. The training manuals are very clear on this.
Okay.
You need to establish rules immediately. Things like knock before entering.
Seems obvious.
It is, but for a child with a history of trauma, a closed door that opens without warning is a trigger. It's terrifying. You have to prove that you respect their space.
And then there's the dress code.
Right. No walking around in towels. Everyone in the house, including you, needs to be fully dressed in communal areas.
Why is that so critical on night one?
It removes ambiguity, it protects the child from triggers, but it also protects you from allegations. It establishes a culture of respect and safety from hour one. There are no gray areas.
So we've got the lights on, we're dressed appropriately, but emotions are high. The child might be crying, they might be angry, or just silent.
The meltdown. It's gonna happen.
And the sources talk a lot about therapeutic parenting, and there's an acronym that comes up constantly, PACE.
PACE. This is the Holy Grail, developed by Dr. Dan Hughes. Playfulness, acceptance, curiosity, empathy.
Okay, let's break that down, because in the heat of a meltdown, when a kid is screaming at you, it's hard to remember an acronym.
It is, but start with A and E, acceptance and empathy. Acceptance doesn't mean accepting bad behavior. If they throw a toy at the TV, you don't say, good job.
Right.
But you accept the feeling behind it. You say, I can see you are furious. I can see you are scared.
You're validating the internal state, not the external action.
Exactly. And empathy is about naming the need. Kids often don't know why they're screaming. You have to be the detective. Are they shouting because they're hungry? Because they miss their mom?
So instead of saying, stop shouting, you say,
I wonder if you're shouting because everything feels so new and scary right now.
I wonder.
I wonder is a magical phrase. That's the seed curiosity. It's not an accusation, it opens a door.
And this leads to a controversial one for many new parents. The difference between time out.
Oh, throw time out in the bin, seriously.
Why?
For a traumatized child, sending them to their room feels like rejection. It confirms their worst fear. I am bad, and when I am bad, the adults send me away.
So what is time in?
Time in is keeping them close. It's saying, I can see you're struggling, so we're going to sit here together until you feel safe again.
You're lending them your calm.
Lending them your calm. I like that. But you mentioned playfulness. How on earth do you be playful when a kid is screaming or breaking things?
It's not about making jokes at them. It's about diffusing tension. There's this great story from one of the trauma manuals about a fork in the printer.
A fork in the printer?
Yeah. So this foster carer is working. The printer is jammed. She looks inside, and her foster child has shoved a dinner fork into the paper feed. Okay, that's frustrating.
Right. Now, the standard reaction is, why did you do that? You've broken it. Go to your room. But that just heaps shame on a child.
So what's the pay-see response?
The carer pulled the fork out, held it up, and said, this is a really interesting place to keep the cutlery, but I think I'm going to put it back in the drawer.
She made a joke of it. She didn't explode.
She diffused the shame. The child laughed. The tension broke. The printer is just a printer. The relationship is what matters.
That is master-level parenting. But it's hard to do when you're tired.
It's exhausting. But shame is a barrier to connection. If you can lower the shame, you lower the fear.
Speaking of fear, there's another rule the sources highlight. Surprises equal fear.
Yes. We think surprises are good. We're going to Disneyland.
Right.
But for a kid who has no control over their life, a surprise is just another thing happening to them that they didn't predict. It triggers a trauma response.
So even good surprises are off the table.
For the first 24 hours, absolutely. Tell them everything. In 10 minutes, we are going to watch TV. Predictability creates safety.
Which brings us to the morning after. You've survived the night. The sun's up. Now what?
Now you start the machine. High structure, high nurture.
That sounds like a contradiction. How can you be highly structured and highly nurturing?
Think of it like a really good teacher. The class knows exactly what the rules are. That's structure. But the teacher is warm, kind, and helps you when you struggle. That's nurture.
You need both.
You need both. Structure makes them feel safe because they know the boundaries. Nurture makes them feel loved within those boundaries.
So straight into routine.
Immediately. Breakfast is at 8 South. We put our bowls in the sink, then we put our shoes on. Do not leave big gaps of empty time. Empty time is where the anxiety creeps back in.
And I think it's important to remind people what the goal of this first 24 hours actually is.
The goal isn't to be mom or dad. You aren't going to fix their trauma in a day.
You might not even get a smile.
You probably won't. You might get silence or you might get screamed at. The goal is simply to be a safe, predictable presence. The goal is to lower the fear level in the room from a 10 to a 9.
If you do that, you've won.
You've won.
That's a relief to hear, honestly.
Then let's be real. This is the scariest part for the carer, too. You've got a stranger in your house. You're worried you're going to say the wrong thing.
It's okay to feel overwhelmed. You are not failing because you're scared.
And there's a quote from a training video we watched that really stuck with me. It said, "You need to be the queen or king of the house."
That sounds a bit authoritarian.
It's not about power, it's about emotional regulation. It means that even if you are panicking inside, on the outside, you project calm, regulated leadership.
I've got this.
Exactly. I am safe, I am in control. The child borrows your calm to regulate themselves. If you are chaotic, they will spiral. You are the lighthouse in their storm.
So let's recap the survival kit for the first 24 hours. Let's boil it down.
Okay. 1, check the legal authority. Can you sign for medical care?
2, keep the lights on.
3, the snack box. Food is safety.
4, use pace. Empathy over discipline.
And 5, routine, routine, routine.
And remember, if you are listening to this and thinking, I need to know exactly what a Form F assessment looks like, we have resources for you.
You should absolutely download the Beginner's Guide to Fostering. And if you're really serious, Contact an agency like Capstone or Affinity. They have incredible training.
Absolutely. The Form F assessment sounds daunting. They ask about everything from your finances to your dog's temperament, but it's there to make sure you're ready.
And honestly, you're never fully ready until that phone rings. But that's the adventure.
Here is a final thought to chew on, something we didn't explicitly cover but is buried in all these sources. We talk a lot about the child's attachment style, but what about yours?
Oh, that's good.
How do you react when someone pushes you away? Do you chase them? Or do you withdraw? Because in those first 24 hours, that child is going to push every button you have. Knowing your own triggers is just as important as knowing theirs.
That is the deep dive right there. Know thyself, so you can help them know themselves.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Good luck with the phone call.
You've got this.